views presented in this review podcast do not necessarily represent those of Anime Banzai, its sponsors, or Utah Anime Promotions.
Listener discretion is advised. May contain content not suitable for all ages.
Spoilers will be had.
You were warned.
You may find yourself butthurt and or offended.
If that's the
We
case,
accept no blame for this.
Welcome back to part 2 of the 2013 summer anime.
Stop fondling the Pop-Tarts, Gord.
Welcome back to... Just a second.
Inserting the breakfast pastry.
I'll stop.
Will you? Will you really? I'll destroy you all.
No, you won't. You're leaving next week.
I'll find a way.
Give him that tasty cake thing. That seems to be his kryptonite
Jesus.
today.
Anywho, welcome to part 2 of the anime... welcome...
It's part 2. We're continuing. Let's go.
Welcome to part 2 of our summer 2013 season review, where we're going over the new shows that have premiered July through September of this year. We took a break. We're back, and let's get back to where we left off.
You realize I'm going to put all that in, right?
Strap onto your seatbelts, put on the ball gag. It's going to be a rough ride.
That's up to you, man. Grease up the spreader.
Woo, blooper reel.
We need to
We
do
are
another
the
one of those.
real.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand how this works, Jesse.
All us, all the time.
No, but actually those takes, you do the beep things after each
Yeah.
of them.
We're now to Ino to Hasami wa Sukayo.
Should I read
Dog and scissors.
We're on beer and sugar. What did you think we were
Gonads and strife.
Dog and scissors and something else is what it translates to.
This is like a female version of Stephen King, who's kind of, a nut job and gets a...
That's giving it too much credit.
No, she is, but she is a bit of a female. She's a very popular. The main two characters is a female author who's extremely eccentric, but also extremely successful. So she has a swank top level apartment, and some guy who is a big fan of hers who got murdered and possessed a dog as a result.
I'm going to protect this girl at the cafe. Oops, I got shot in the face.
His
And
only
then-
plea to the afterlife was he can't die yet. There's one last book in this series.
And as character character motivations go,
Pretty crap.
yeah, I ain't buying
Hey,
that
at least
shit.
he wasn't a
And
pervert.
If that worked,
I don't know. The
then
last book he was waiting for was named Lust.
Silence you.
Hey, if such a thing worked, we would be dealing with millions of zombie Wheel of Time fans
Very
eventually.
true. But it's over now. So the long national nightmare would be over.
Yeah, the main character
Thank you,
is
Brandon
one of those
Sanderson.
book nerds
Next
that's
one
very
is,
similar to what's her name from Read or Die.
What?
He's addicted to reading.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just comparing characters, yeah.
He's kind of like...
Except he's absolutely not interesting at all, unlike...
Yeah.
He's utterly unlikable, and he has a harem for some reason.
The character dynamics aren't really good. The show, the animation style, the direction style, even the things like the eye catches at the beginning and ends, it's like stuff that was done in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
Well,
it feels
again-
like it's 10 years old. It looks 10 years old even because it's color palette.
And
Yeah.
this is Gonzo. This is new Gonzo.
Gonzo.
This is off their game.
Gonzo, when your creator left you, he took everything that was good.
Yes.
All that you loved and wanted to be is gone now.
We
Left.
keep hoping better things would come from Gonzo. And actually something better.
Some things did.
Yeah, something better from Gonzo we'll be talking about later.
Yeah.
But this is not one of them.
Nope.
Just not interesting.
I didn't think it was super funny.
No catch.
Oh.
And
Who
yeah,
else
there
who's
a-
watched it have anything else to say
I mean,
about
does
it?
anybody have a dissenting opinion?
Well, pretty much the easiest thing to say about the show is guy gets reincarnated by dog, gets adopted by like his favorite author who is a psycho who constantly tries to
yeah, she's
kill
not
him
very
with
likable there.
no.
Yeah,
No, she's not.
she carries around scissors and tries to kill him with them, and it's not very. The pacing is bad. The animation's kind of eh.
Okay. I'll have to say in the second
Jesse-
episode.
No, can finish and then we can.
Okay. In the second episode, they did whip her around to do the dairy, and it just felt so
Neck
not
breaking.
working.
You had something to say, or
I was just say,
Yeah.
you see the scissor thing, you think maybe it's going to be Godfrey, and it's just not Godfrey.
She's a poor man's Senjo Kahara.
Kind of, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not terrible.
least
It's just
she's 20.
It's just lukewarm.
They chase the murderer, and he gets away by tap dancing and clapping books and being strange.
Yeah.
It honestly, it feels like something that came out of what I call the dark times, which is like 2000
Early
to
aughts.
2005.
Which is now this says something though, because during the dark times we got some of my favorite shows, and I watched another show from the dark times recently, Tenjo Tenge, which
yeah.
it was pretty much this sort of level of what the fuck am I watching here, but good.
Tenjo Tenge.
Well, flowers come out of dirt, and really nice flowers come out of dirt with shit on it.
Yeah. And that's just good. That's just oh great in general. Oh great stuff is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The description for this one makes the series sound interesting, but it's no.
Yeah.
I didn't.
that opening credits sequence is also ear bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can I give it a recommend?
No.
No.
If it sounds like it might be your thing, knock yourself out.
But
It's not
it
mine.
wasn't ours. And this is one of the weird things where we can't even really get anyone to dissent on
For
that.
once, we cannot endorse animal cruelty.
Dog deserves it. Anyway,
All right, rolling on. Kami-sama no Inai,
Kami-sama no
Nichiyobi.
Nai no Nichiyobi.
A Sunday Without God.
Yeah.
AKA
Or
Shoveltan, or Shovelolly, or
Shovel
Where is
Girl.
your God now?
Shovel Girl. I actually have another nickname. It's like how I tend to describe it. It's like humanity has declined, but not funny.
Yes.
A sad will be in a very broken universe.
yeah,
As I
Yes.
said before, it's been a good season for the broken universe anime.
yeah, generally.
As broken universes go, a little bit of background is that basically in this world,
Heaven and earth are full. Heaven and hell are full, and the dead walk the earth.
yeah, basically God said, well, heaven's full, hell's full, I'm sorry, I failed, I'm out,
I'm out.
and then poof, he's
Peace.
gone. And then people couldn't die.
Or have babies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
odd that.
And so the world is just in this screwed up state.
It's been like this for a couple decades
At
now.
least 15 years.
Yeah. And what has happened since then is that you had the appearance of gravekeepers.
Who go around and that's the only way you actually can die.
It's
if you're
basically-
buried by a gravekeeper, your soul goes somewhere.
It's kind of a more literal version of the last rites.
Yeah. And basically, Shoveltan is one of these.
So she says.
so she says.
So she says.
And then the town she's at, everyone has been dead, and she's been basically their gravekeeper since her mom died about
5 or 6 years ago.
5, 6 years ago.
Excuse me.
And she then proceeds to, and then someone comes by, murders everyone in the town. Well, not even because they're already dead.
It's a pretty.
It gets weird and dark, and she can't win. She just cannot win. But it's interesting because somehow you kind of root for her because they make her so adorable.
Oddly
Yeah.
enough, and I'm going to say this despite the fact that I really dislike this particular type of storytelling, it's a really traditional hero's journey that they've got going on.
Yeah.
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 Because you get introduced to the status quo and the background, everything's great. Then something comes in, world ends.
All gone.
Main
Yeah.
character's like, shit, I got to go do something else now. My whole world is ending.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to describe it. Is that she is? I mean, she's the main. And they show she can apparently part of being. She can fight a little bit.
A little
She is not incompetent at what she does. I guess she just happens to have naive views of the world because she's kind of been sheltered for a while.
heavily.
Yeah.
And so over the while they just kind of you just kind of find more about what are some of the potentials of some of how the setting is and
This
how messed up it
show
gets.
has a lot of potential for grimdark.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Real
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pacing is a little scawampus, though.
It is.
It's slow,
It
but
can be.
the pacing seems to be more running for that. So Japanese shows that kind of go for a little more drama, creepy, do have that slower thing, and that might just be a cultural that's just what people are used to with their cinema and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it too much, but I'm kind of used to it.
Kind of an
it does
atmospheric
kind of get jarring when they try to be funny randomly because it's cute, it's funny-ish, but again, it's like you're no human. Like a good example of another humanity is doomed sort of show was Humanity Has Declined, but that show was a comedy first, so
was
it became
all deadpan all the time.
Yep. Well, this one, the humor is there just to make it so it becomes less wrist slitty.
I don't know. The deal with Shovel Tan is the art is interesting, but I didn't make it past one episode.
I like the light. Like I actually kind of like some of the like the technical stuff, like the lighting and colors and things like that.
Stuff like that.
I'm going to point something out here, and y'all can throw something at me if you don't like it.
Does she look like Sakura to you too?
No. It's a Madhouse production.
Yes.
That explains a lot.
Madhouse, much like Gonzo, is a studio in decline. And I can't really...
I'm not going to go that far yet. Madhouse has a thing though. There is a signature thing with them is that, and that actually might be a bit. I always like Madhouse's lighting. I like their color.
Yeah.
I like their composition. Their actual like moving shit on screen animation things.
Not necessarily.
Not so much.
Yeah.
This is one of their better character design shows.
Yes.
And there are
Yes.
worse shows than Madhouse if you want to make
Very much.
random shows.
Yeah, it's every time I see a show that comes out that is being produced by my Madhouse, it's kind of like seeing something being produced by Studio Dean. It's kind of like,
Except Dean's been good
dude,
lately.
Dean has been getting better.
About that.
Tremendous
we'll be
amount of
getting that.
money.
Okay, getting better. But here's the deal. Madhouse is to me kind of you have to they're not like some other studios. Like we're the kind of people like, oh, Shaft did that, Kyo Animation did
I'm
that.
in.
We're in. But we'll
Yeah.
sight unseen. We'll watch it. I'm like that also with a bit with A1 Pictures.
Yeah,
so
and
there
PA
are-
works.
And PA works.
Yeah, it works, yeah.
Madhouse is one of those ones that I will watch it tentatively.
Yeah.
Because you
But-
never sure what's going to
Never
come out
sure.
animation-wise.
But if it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good. It's not like some other studios where if they did it, I'm skeptical whether it will be good at all to begin with.
Generally, yeah.
Madhouse is that one where it's at least worth a shot because if it's good, it'll be a good show.
It
If
just-
it's bad, oh well,
Yeah,
they
it-
do enough good to balance out.
It
the
just
bad.
always strikes me as they're past their glory days, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can just do another Black Lagoon.
They are the Jim
OVA.
Carrey of anime studios.
Ow.
Ow.
Burn, but accurate.
All right. Moving on to another questionable animation studio. Dean, who is making Kinetsugu Tokeiji.
This one's painful to watch.
Tanetsugu Tokeiji. All
Yes.
of these.
The hell are you looking at? Which one's that?
Yeah.
The one that's not highlighted or have art on our
Yes.
current thing.
Looking at.
It's the Sengoku period one.
Oh
Gayer
Jesus!
than free.
It's like
Jesus!
it's like
I skipped that one.
it's like huge, manly Fist of the North Star style animated characters, and
So-
it's just
This
not
is
good at
300
all.
style homoerotica, not modern day.
So
They cavort like the Greeks of old. You know the ones we mean.
Yes, that kind of cavort.
Well,
well, here's the deal with this kind of show. So in Japan, there's the whole there's shows that were called Otome Road shows.
Sengoku. Otome
Yeah,
Hero.
Songeku era stuff tends to be actually geared oftentimes at Fujiyoshi, the kind of you have your pervert or dude otakus with the lolicon and shit. Fujiyoshi kind of in the female spectrum can get a little weird with the yaoi stuff. But anyways, in this specific case, the show kind of plays on a lot of that kind of tropes. Like you have your huge dudes. They kind of have a lot of bromance between one another, a lot of Sakura petals, a lot of enjoying the beauty of the other man's music.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like
10
I'm here.
minutes.
I'm here to fight this man, but he's playing music.
I will wait.
I will wait and sit and watch. Oh, I can feel his aura through his music, and it's like, whoa, guys.
we fight the battle inside of our head type of
No,
thing.
no, no.
no,
Not
that would have
even-
made it more interesting.
Yes.
Well, they attempted that, but they just didn't do a very good job at it. It was kind of crappy.
The problem we've had with it actually has this really neat MS3K factor to it.
Yeah.
If you're
It
watching
does
it with
that, yeah.
buddies with a lot of alcohol, it is actually hilarious.
That's how I watched all of Fist of the North Star. In my head, Fist of the North Star is still about Rao trying to steal Kenshira's eyebrows. The man has enough for 3 people.
But yeah, this show just never really we watched and it was weird because we watched this right after we watched Free, and that was my first thing. It's like this is gayer than Free. And the thing with Free is that Free has this thing where, despite kind of having those Fujiyoshi tropes and obvious homages to, Free has this.
It
thing
doesn't bathe in it.
It doesn't bathe in it, and it has enough. It has enough besides being that it's a generally more accessible, enjoyable show.
Yes.
That's why another example, K-On! Is an interesting thing because it's kind of like the epitome of Moe Blob. but it's broadcast on Disney Channel. Girls and adults liked it. Like, it just was a popular show.
I liked it.
It branched out beyond kind of just being this trope fodder. And this show fails utterly at it.
Yes.
So
It's like, remember all that bad anime from the 80s where the men were drawn with big hair, big eyebrows, with big burly bodies with tiny, tiny heads?
so
It's like that.
yeah, this is the kind of thing that I might inflict on someone else, just cause.
If you don't like them.
yeah. And
I reiterate, there might be alcohol involved. You might be him streaking it. That's his main.
I don't recommend watching this unless there's alcohol.
I still
involved.
want to occasionally talk about. I still want to do the MST3K sessions where we just get crap ass stuff like that.
The problem is that
Bentley,
you have
you're
to
saying
rewatch
this will be a
shows.
future viewing room show?
I say that isn't out of the realm of possibility.
If we get Man Love 2015 as our next theme, maybe.
No.
I know.
Vetoed.
All right, moving on.
Kimi no Irumachi.
Yes, the town in which you live, or as we call it, the town in which you rage.
This show looks like it was made 20 years ago.
That's
and it's
because-
just now getting released.
Okay, here's the deal. The director of this show did, and anyone else seen these shows can recognize it. He did Kashern Sins.
Yep.
And he loves his Dutch angles, washed up color palettes, and his weird just compositions.
I
Yes.
love the visuals on the show.
But for this title, that kind of artistic direction works.
It's almost
kind of, except I saw the OVAs, which were more traditionally animated, and I kind of liked those better.
This
Okay, yeah.
series is borderline Hispanic telenovels.
Yes.
It's great.
It is anime telenovela is a great way to describe it.
Honestly, I saw this and it had the very, very old-fashioned animation style, and I thought that was really cool. And then I sat through 2 episodes of it.
It kind of gets a little fatiguing.
Well, I was watching the show, and the pacing, the music, and the angles, and the color palette that they used, I'm just sitting here going, okay, when's the murders going to start?
They don't.
and they don't,
And they don't.
They're just not going
because
to.
it's a
But
drama show.
It has one of those weird, creepy vibes. It's just like, when
But
is
it's
the
not-
murders going to start? But they don't.
I just have to say this, as I suspect I'm the only person who's read the manga.
I've been trying to. It's actually not bad.
It's better as a manga than the anime is. And seeing as how I like the anime, that's
I think
I'm
I
not
gotta
saying
fe-
the anime is bad. It's just that's the vibe I
Well,
got from the show.
I think, and here's a problem. Like I said, the old school thing is a neat novel thing.
Yes.
It worked for Kashern Sins
Yep.
really well, but for this show, I actually do think kind of the more just standard aesthetic,
straight up
slice of life look, like the OVA that they
Yeah.
did prior, would have just suited it better. And yeah, it has some things, but frankly, shows like this are sometimes, unless you have enough the drama and all that, it's a drama. And there are shows that are, drama wangsty shows that use the more classical, the more modern look, like Hanosaka Iroha or Tari Tari, and those hook me because the aesthetics, the aesthetic doesn't get in the way
Yeah.
of the show.
Yeah.
In this show, it feels like at times the animation's getting in my way.
Also,
Okay.
the director's choice to basically chop up the timeline into bits and then toss it like the frugal gourmet on crack.
Doesn't
Toss the
help.
Salad, not helping.
Honestly,
I would say more yen can cook, go chop with a...
I don't
can
actually
too.
usually say this, but I got a feeling like if anything, it's been a good advertisement for the manga.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can believe that the manga is a lot better. Maybe it is the way that they're messing with the timeline that bothers me, but it is not the art style that makes me not like this show.
It's a drama.
I watched. No, there is no drama. Guess what? He followed this girl to the city.
Yeah,
because,
and that's part of it
you
is
know,
they present it as such a creepy factor too, and it's not that in the original timeline.
Yeah,
if
no,
you just
it's. I don't know.
We're not
It-
being shown his side of the story very effectively.
not
Yeah.
or at all.
At all.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I got through 2 episodes of this because I knew that we were doing the season
fine.
review.
You muscled through.
That's
I did.
like I said, my
Thank you for
suggestion.
soldiering
So
on.
what hooked me on, like what gave me even an idea to watch this, is I watched the OVAs out of just kind of impulse,
Idle
like okay,
curiosity.
idle curiosity. It's a 2-episode OVA. What bad can be? I liked the OVA, saw they were going to do a series, and I actually was somewhat excited for this. And
Yep.
I'm actually somewhat let down by this series.
A little bit.
So
It is a good
because
example of more of
Down.
the traditional animation styles that we used to have.
Sort of, except part of where those came from was restrictions. Those
Yeah.
weren't things done on purpose. They were things
Yeah.
you did because you didn't have better shit to do it with.
And then this one was weird because, like I said, the older style animation was something I actually liked. So they'll do a lot of the older style animation, and then they'll like rotoscope a leaf. You know, it's
And there's
weird.
the obsession with cats for some reason.
yeah.
And
Weird looking.
It could be
cats.
worse.
Like I said, ruined expectations and let down. Imagine that from the Casher and Sins people.
And Studio Gonzo. Because Studio Gonzo is doing the animation.
I quit.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on.
Please.
Gonzo.
So yeah, very mixed bag on reactions. If you like drama, give it a shot.
I'm sticking with it.
Give it a shot.
But I'm going to keep reading them. I'm going to use it as a way to motivate
Yeah.
me to read the manga.
Yes.
Yes, and that's the approach I'm taking. I'm probably going to continue watching this and then read the manga later, as opposed to reading the manga now and spoiling myself and looking at the anime and,
And
going,
being
"What the hell?"
disappointed.
Yes,
Yep.
that's like, no, I'm not going to
It
go
could
on
have been
that.
worse.
Speaking of,
it could have been worse. They could have done Good End as an anime, and then it would be like head against wall territory.
I was going to say, speaking of disappointments, next on
Kingdom?
the list.
Ew.
Well, I'm even skipping Kingdom
Yeah.
because, well, yeah.
Just,
Well-
it's not worth watching.
I was just going to say, the original Kingdom, the story was very promising, but they kept going from CG animation to traditional cell animation, and they were so bipolar on it that you're like, hey, this is good, now it's crap.
It
This
was
is good,
so
now it's crap.
jarring,
It
which
wasn't
sucks
worth
because the character designs are cool,
Yeah.
the setting is cool, the idea is cool. It's just the animation
animation
got
is-
in your way.
The animation on this is so bad at times that it's painful to watch.
Yep.
But if you like the
Three Kingdoms era.
Three Kingdoms era, it's pretty much the if
I
you
thought
watched,
it was even earlier.
It is. It's pre
is.
Three Kingdoms.
Yeah,
but
it's
not
Warring
much.
States.
Yeah, this like what was that? The
Warring
seven
States. They call it the Warring States.
Seven
Yeah.
States? Yeah.
if you've watched the movie Hero, it's kind of
That
during
time.
that period.
It's earlier than that.
Yeah.
Because the main character is the Emperor at the end of Hero.
Yeah. But anyway, it like I said, it's kind of a letdown
Yeah.
because lots
Yeah.
of promise,
Well, just
no
move on.
no delivery.
It's not worth It's not worth it.
Yep. Next
Oh,
one.
God.
That's
Kitakabu Katsudo Hiroku.
yes, the KKK.
Oh, damn.
Coming
Or as I call this, the KKK took my consciousness away. Because this
it
is pretty
translates,
boring.
translates the Chronicles of the Going Home Club.
The
Yes.
joke we just made, most funny thing about the series.
There was an interesting
I'm trying
gag in
for
the first
life of
one.
me to remember which one this is, and I know which I watched this.
So,
one. I can't think of.
Here's
what
the
it was.
okay. Here's
Yeah.
the premise. The main character says, "I'm going to join." Like she jokingly says, "I'm going to do the go."
I'm
going to
join the
Which in Japan, it's just a joke for saying you ain't got a club at school and you're just going straight home. And it turns out that school actually did have a going home club, and she got drafted into it. And then you're kind of assaulted with a string of very weird, unrelated comedy jokes.
4 coma jokes.
Yeah, 4 coma jokes that aren't really funny.
Here's
There are
my
a couple
problem.
gags,
There are a few, but
not enough to support a show.
Here's the thing. We just had the Good Job Club. Like, what? Last year? 3 seasons ago?
I don't
Yeah.
know or
Not
care
even
really.
that many,
And it was
but, yeah.
better than this
It was
by
like
a
damn
substantial
straight.
lot.
And that says something because I didn't like GJ Boo. GJ Boo was boring.
Yeah, to an extent.
But then we but now for a good one, in my opinion, we had Yu Yu Shiki, which had
Yes.
our troll as trolls the anime.
Trolls trolling trolls infinity.
listen to the last podcast review for Yushiki.
Yeah,
And then go watch it.
That show was that show was better than both these shows combined, and I think a larger chunk was GJ Boo.
Yep. So, yeah, that one.
No, stop it! No, we're not doing that now.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
So that one, give it a pass.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to something else you can give a pass. Makai Oji, Devils and Realist.
You skipped
You skipped Kiniro Mosaic.
Kino. Yeah, the next one is Kin Iro Mosaic, or as
Yeah, I
I
guess
call
I
it,
did.
or as I call it, the magic of white people.
We named I nicknamed this one so British we shit the
That's maybe a less offensive way to put it.
Rule
than I-
Britannia.
But no, like, do we want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moi.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's kind of
Hello.
amusing.
Oh God, the English. So much English.
Main character, as a young girl, goes on a homestay to fantasy England. Because there's one thing I can tell you, as being a British citizen.
It was way sunnier than England ever is, for one thing.
no part of England gets that much sun.
It was sunny every day.
It should have been. It's
Every
like, yeah,
day.
this is going to be great. Walking out of Heathrow Airport. Hey, it's a nice sunny day. Wait 3 minutes.
And the Brits were strangely friendly compared to how I ever imagined the British to
have the
be.
exact same climate as Madrid?
Japan? Oh.
No.
Madrid.
What?
Madrid.
If that was the case, Madrid would not be flooded with Londoners every year.
Londoners who seek the sating
Hello?
power of the sun.
Do you have any tea? I'm sorry, do you not speak English? Let me talk louder!
And so, but
Oh,
yeah, she.
bollocks, I done put the spoon in the rubbish bin and the tea bag in the sink again.
And then there's marmalade. Why the fuck do you put marmalade on sandwiches? You.
Not on sandwiches.
Yes, on sandwiches.
Put marmalade on sandwiches, you put them on scones. Which could be a sandwich if you put more than marmalade in it, I guess.
This is why we declared independence. Anyways,
So basically, you have this girl from Japan who goes on the
Homestay.
on the homestay in England.
Has a great time.
Has this great time. Meets basically this girl over there.
Their entire
makes good friends with them.
of words is hello, goodbye, hello, goodbye, hello, because
Also
they can't
hello.
speak each other's language.
also hello when saying goodbye.
Yes.
Yes. Which is kind of cute in its own way because it's like, yeah, okay.
Except after a point, you're just like, stop it.
Stop it. But then basically,
The tables are turned.
yes, years later, it's the other way around.
She's second year high school or something like that.
And there's a new student. I guess who?
Who
And-
can now suddenly speak excellent Japanese.
Well, because someone was actually learning about the place that she's
Somebody
going to
probably
homestay.
turned into a little weeaboo, and that's fine.
Probably.
I like to, and then some other half Japanese girl shows up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I jokingly call it the magic of white people, but that's just kind of what kind of
Yeah.
showed up for me on that watching it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the first episode reminded me a bit of Le Ring,
A little bit like Ling, which is the
Le Croix.
croissant.
Oh
Labyrinth or
God,
something.
that show was so boring
Tiny Japanese girl gets sent to France.
and not like
late Victorian
and treated
France.
very nicely compared to how I just can actually imagine that would actually go.
Well, that's because old Grandpa's awesome.
Grandpa's a wizard.
Like seriously, and it just might be me being a bad person and thinking very awfully of the Victorian age, but
Quite possible. You would not be wrong.
Yes.
Or France.
they just kind of go hand in hand.
Watch
at
the
that point.
Mayashiman Goes to France episodes for France.
Ball dropped. Unrelated though.
Wow. Okay then.
History going on there, don't we?
I say kind of
I'll
amusing.
explain later.
Well,
It's boner. Why?
Okay, we're going away from that right now. We got stuff to talk about for that later. So
But anyways, and this show, and it's basically there's a lot of cultural. The basic idea with this show, though, Magic White Girl has lots of misunderstandings while in Japan, and she has it's just moe blob, cute,
yeah,
cultural
it is
exchange
utterly
stuff.
harmless.
so if that's your sort of thing, give it a shot. It's a fairly
A bland timidity that nobody can relate to.
It's Studio Gokumi. They do stuff like that.
it's fairly harmless, mostly harmless.
Entirely harmless.
All right, moving on to something that isn't. Makai Oji,
God
Devils
damn it.
and Realist.
The other Dantalian was more interesting.
I have not seen this one yet.
Okay.
It's like a fail version of Black Butler.
I didn't. And
Black Butler wasn't Phil from the start.
Okay.
It has its fan base. We can't mock them. They'll find
Yes, we can.
They'll find us and they'll hurt us.
We can have our opinions, just fine. Anyways, Studio Dogakoba. The animation is okay.
Yes.
But basically, the idea is that
The same fucking story as Dantalian.
generally.
Calm down.
But anyways,
Done well.
what you have is the main character is a descendant from Solomon. As in that Solomon. Yes. And basically, he finds out that
a Jew.
that's
Apparently, he was just an inappropriate demon botherer.
yes. Bother. Anyways, he's
I
attending
like
a
Lee's shaking her head right now.
he's attending a boarding school, but then they call him into the office because his tuition hasn't been paid, and he's like, okay, what the hell?
Something we're introduced to with this main character right away, hardcore skeptic. Everything is by the numbers, by the sciences, by known fact. There's no such thing as the afterlife. There's no such thing as the supernatural.
Yeah.
I like this guy so far.
And so basically, he goes back home to find out what the hell's going on.
But he's a prick.
And yeah, well, basically his uncle, which has been his caretaker, has run out of money. His businesses have gone bankrupt.
Uncle Sheko, no!
And he's buggered off. So he's like, well, what the hell?
At least he left me with the house, which is empty.
Which is empty of all furnishings, because all the furnishings have been sold off to, pay various bills. And there's only his basically faithful butler left.
This is also how we know it was bullshit, England.
The butler would have bailed
No,
long ago.
They never would have taken the house. It was like, oh, dear boy, you're a little hard up. No problem. Just have a few thousand.
But anyways, he goes back and says, okay, well, hell.
Secret Mason buggery handshake.
So yeah. Oh, yeah. He goes to the butler. Is like, well, is there anything you like, any secret passages, anything like that? Is there anything we could possibly find? So they search the house. They find the secret passage that goes down into a basement, and in this basement there's a magic circle
Yeah, because that's what you find.
on the floor.
Or what you want to mess with.
Yes. And so he's kind of like, oh, well, there's nothing really here.
Was my uncle in the Hellfire Club and he just didn't tell me?
What's the worst that could happen? Demons fueled all his wealth and success over these years?
Dead
A lot of
orphans
dead
in the
hookers
basement.
come out of a shallow grave.
Yeah.
Basically, he wounds himself somehow, gets his blood on the magic circle, which of course activates, and summons in Dantalion.
Oops.
One of the demons of hell. Ooh.
Boy, was his face red.
And basically,
They have him arrested.
yeah, they have him arrested because it's like, oh, this dude just showed up. Oh, what the hell?
Get out of my house.
And basically, he's drawn into this whole kind of series of events back over in the demon world. He's forcibly pulled later into the demon world
It's nap time for
by like the goat servant of Dantalion. Lucifer has buggered off. He's on holiday or something.
He has to take a nap.
Yes,
He has to take a long
and
nap.
all the major demons are supposedly this power struggle of who's going to take his place in the meanwhile.
Oh, meanwhile he's working at the Burger King.
Seriously?
Yeah.
McDonald's.
If you had to deal with most of these assholes, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And anyways, since he is the descendant of Solomon, he is somehow the person who is going to judge between all these great demons on who is going to be the replacement of Lucifer.
Basically, they're gonna hold him by his ankles and point his little blonde head at all the demons. And whichever of them is the worst, he's gonna go at.
And so basically there's this, power struggle amongst the demons. He gets kind of pulled in because he has an associated with Dantalion, because Dantalion is basically owned by Solomon.
First bad guy they fight is Gilderai
Yes.
in fabulous purple.
In fabulous purple. Also known as Bluebeard. But anyways, so yeah, and Solomon and Dantalion, there was very much a master and servant relationship with the Rod of Solomon, if you know what I mean.
I now have Depeche Mode in my head.
All I've thought since I heard Solomon Grundy want pants too.
God, if it ever gets to that point, I'm firing that hard drive into the sun.
Yeah, and so and so the Hoye is strong with this, but you have this staunch realist who's thrown into all this bullshit, going,
Nope, not happening.
nope, this shit ain't going on, nope, and it's not that interesting.
But seriously,
I liked another Dantalion better.
Yeah, the other
a few last
Dantalion
years.
was better,
Yeah, a few years ago.
and it was Gynax.
Yeah,
How about that?
All right.
And everyone just
Dantalion
kinda-
no Shoko for reference.
As everyone kind of, just kind of goes,
Has been said. I'm not. I
Don't watch it.
I'm not really finding this interesting at
If
all.
you really like stuff like Black Butler,
You'll probably eat this shit up.
with a spoon, a big silver spoon
Yes.
with doilies.
what? No curly straw?
Curly string.
No, there is no. I drink your milkshake. No. All right, moving on. Monogatari.
Second season.
Second
Even though it's
season.
kind of the third or whatever.
Weren't we supposed to mention all the continuations at the beginning?
This is technically a second.
It is.
This
a
is a new-
continuation.
It is a
This
continuation.
this
but
one does kind of need to be. Yeah, this should have been at the beginning.
It's also not continuing from the previous season.
Yes, it is. It takes off right where the last one took.
No, as in sequentially, as in last season.
No, it.
There's
it
the
does.
Ova in between.
It actually
There's the
does.
Ova in
Wait,
between.
wait. Point of terminology. What he means is it wasn't
Spring
in the
2013.
Spring season. You're talking about sequentially between the episodes. He's talking about the time
Discontinuate-
gap.
This is not continuing from spring season.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
That's what I meant by. Anyways,
We did technically get the Ova at the end of the year last year, but it's been a couple of months.
Yeah.
And the OVA was a prequel.
yes.
Yes.
Monogatari. If you like Shaft, if you like Shinbo, if you've liked the previous Monogatari series, you're probably already watching this show.
Yes. Chances are you already know it is out and have been watching it faithfully, just like us.
In case you're curious, the basic premise of the original setup was the guy over spring break at some point, he became a vampire.
Accidentally.
Accidentally. He got better.
Accidentally
Mostly
vampire.
better.
I got better.
And now, with the help of a magic homeless man who originally helped him, he helps a series of girls with their problems and ends up with a lopsided harem and a pet ghost.
That's just an amusing thing to think of. Is magical homeless man helps young girls.
Okay, if you had explained Bakemonogatari like that to me before, I might have watched more than 2 episodes.
We didn't know.
So you're saying you like magical homeless men?
Magical girls.
Oh, she knows
It's
pretty
art, damn it, art.
Speaking of art, with
Speaking of art.
it's art with the E at the end and an accent.
Meanwhile, at Shaft.
Shaft. Prince money. The show kind of has. I think what a lot of people have liked about the show, the dialogue humor is really good. When it goes actiony, it's actually pretty cool
Yes.
how it goes actiony, and every now and again, it also just this habit of just going pretty damn surreal on you. But in some shows, going surreal is kind of used as a way to cheat animation. In this show, you have really well drawn, bright colors,
Homeless man.
deep, interesting lighting. It's actually a really visually stunning show, and then it's actually pretty interesting because
Sorry, go ahead.
you don't actually know how they resolve the problems half the time.
It is
Yeah.
actually, it's Shaft's like showboat. It's you see the shit that we can do. This is it. By the way, we also did Madoka.
Yep.
This is Shaft at its finest.
Yes. Although there are a lot of people out there who see the material, watch the show, and kind of go, ugh.
Also, as a note with the series, remember we were talking about fan service?
Yeah.
If you do not have a strong stomach for that sort of stuff, or you get annoyed with it,
The cameraman.
the cameraman's a bad person,
Oh, yeah.
and you need to keep that in mind. And we're not gonna. I don't think we should explain it here. Just be warned that if you do try to watch this series, you'll know it when you see it. The toothbrush. Let's just say
Oh, that
that's
was previous season.
that's our Monoodle incident. I think for anyone who's watched that show, once you've seen it, you'll know what we're saying. But until then,
Now you see as I see.
Yes. for those who went to Banzai, and for those who went to the late night once seen Cannot Unsee, you have seen the toothbrush scene.
you will never get that. No amount of bleach will ever get
Out
that
of your head.
And to think, before that, episode 5 of that season, I thought was the most awkward thing I'd ever
Yeah.
watched ever.
Yeah, then guess what?
There's a reason why they call it once seen, can't unsee. They work hard on this.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun show. It's more kind of a highlight that it's there. You guys who liked that series, it's there to watch. If you haven't watched that series, all of it's on Crunchyroll. It's
Yeah.
a good show.
Yeah.
Give it a watch.
All right.
If you're a prude, don't watch it.
Yes.
Fact.
So
Okay.
it's pretty heavy with the violence it points to, if that's your issue.
Yeah.
At one point, the main character gets his intestines pulled out and he's flown like a kite.
Now, that said, they animated it so all the blood was these bright neon colors and it was really
Pepto-Bismol.
abstract and shit. So it looked really cool.
A good way to explain it is if you watched Kill Bill and you saw all the weird shit they did to hide the violence, it's kind of like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except animated, so more so.
A lot better.
All right. Now, I'm going to skip over Recorder and Rancel.
Thank
You
you.
skipped something else in doing that.
Watamote we've already talked about.
Did we?
No, we didn't.
No, we
we
didn't.
didn't.
All right. Okay.
No matter how I look at it, it's your fault I'm not popular, is how that translates to.
There's a reason he skipped it. There's a reason.
No.
You
It's
know,
at the bottom of the list.
the description of this fits the show pretty spot on.
I call this one Moy for Anon.
She's not Moe.
No.
She's
Remember,
not cute.
This is Moy for. This is the experience of the
Well,
viewer.
We know those feels sometimes.
The description of this show is a cringe comedy about a creepy otaku girl trying to become sociable and popular.
And if they don't add is failing miserably
Yep.
at it.
Yes.
One of the most awesome opening songs
Gleefully
in a long
running
time.
towards her own self-destruction.
Best opening and closing of the season.
I like the closing
Yes.
a lot
Definitely,
too.
Yes.
Yep.
A whole lot of
The closing's so sad. The closing is so sad.
No, not quite
No.
that way.
No. It's almost borderline doo-hoo-hoo.
She is so sad in that closing song.
I think you
Yeah.
need to go over what you said earlier about it at the beginning of the episode. You
So,
feel bad for her?
Yeah. Here's the setup. The main character Tomoko Kuroki is her name. Everyone her nickname from friends and family is Mokochi. She during junior high wasn't the most sociable person ever, and in high school finds herself.
Now, come on. She's talked to 6 people. She can't be that bad.
She also had a couple friends.
By the way, that's a quote.
That is a quote.
She says that. She thinks that. I've talked to 6
And
people.
a
so
guy
I'm
would help.
obviously
And a
not
guy
having
would help her
problems.
pick up her eraser 2 out of 3 times.
The interesting thing there is that the character actually has this tremendously believable inner dialogue, but at the same time, you just watch it and you're like, oh my God.
So what ends up happening is she thinks that it's high school. It's all going to be better now. And it gets worse.
If your vision of high school is dictated by Saved by the Bell, maybe.
But yeah, she basically ends up finding herself basically unable to interact with anyone. And every time she tries, the fact that she's such an awkward and narcissistic person kind of
Flips from ultimately hopeful to vengeance-driven, bitter old hag in a flip of a switch.
she has a very often a habit where at the beginning of an episode, something really sad might happen where it was justifiably, you feel bad for her. It's like that whole kicked puppy factor.
Yep.
And then over the course of the episode, she took all that goodwill you built up and kind of starts expending it very quickly.
Like a puppy who throws up in your shoes.
She listens to what either visual novel or audiobooks or some group called the Yandere Boys is her favorite music.
she also
And
has
she spends a lot of the most recent episode trying to catch her sick brother's cold so she
Yeah.
can get a long weekend.
or harassing. And she has a friend who genuinely wants to help her, but has no fucking clue how to do it and keeps accidentally sabotaging
Pissing
any
her
progress.
Well, again, when your said best friend is voiced by Hanakana,
Hanakawa.
No, her friend is perfect. Her friend is very
Exactly.
Like her friend was a lot like her in that she was kind of like a bit dorky, wasn't as popular in junior high. Unlike her, actually, when she tried to kind of remodel herself for high school,
worked.
succeeded swimmingly, and also doesn't deviate into rape
Swimmingly?
face when she gets stressed out over stuff. No, Mokochi, like it says something in the most recent episode where the teacher was passing out, like the teacher just would see her sometimes like, I'm going to just walk this way.
It's like she fell asleep. Gah.
It never gets better, but that's part of the humor.
yeah, animation is done by Silverlink.
It's-
It is very well
The
animated.
animation's actually, I actually want to highlight this, is that they do this really weird thing with the lighting in that everything. So in anime, a lot you'll see where characters have that simple 2-tone color, but everything has that. So you even have it where lens flares are done in that 2-tone color, except for actual lens flares. It looks really neat, actually, and that's just something worth noting. It just looks pretty cool.
Well, if you really like dark humor and cringe comedy, this is kind of right up your alley.
Cringe is the right word sometimes on that show. She just can say because the problem with her also, she's just kind of a hopeless otaku on certain things, and so she has her views on how guys are supposed to be or people are supposed to be, and will just say shit that is like, you just don't do that.
She's essentially, the female embodiment of 2chan
Yeah.
in all the worst ways.
She's actually from what I was reading about, she's kind of considered A on 4chan.
Yeah.
She's their unofficial mascot.
Yeah.
She's anon. She's
And
feminine.
it says something where in Japan, a way they tried to kind of, when they were selling the tokubuns for the manga, they pointed out it's like it's really popular on 4chan was actually one of the selling points. They don't know better. They don't
4chan is the fans on 4chan who ate the manga up are really the only reason this got a show in the first place.
And
a lot of ways.
in a weird way, I salute them.
So yeah, if you consider yourself a channer,
Here's the
If
deal.
you are not,
Here's how I suggest it. If you're not sure still, give it a watch. See if you think it's funny. The first
Yes.
episode
Yeah.
kind of describes most of it. If it's not your alley, run streaming. If you like it, keep watching it. It's good.
first episode will make or break whether you're going to watch it.
I still occasionally get the man what's when I go into C and I see a Tomoko thread. It's like, why? Nope, I'm out.
Popular Chan.
Okay.
All right, now this one's mine. I'm taking this one. Rokyobu SS.
No.
Basketball head.
No.
Okay, my recommendation: do not watch this.
Don't say.
Okay, and you know, we watched the first season. We watched the first season because it was train wreck.
So you guys don't see this right now, but I'm looking at Bentley with very kind of judgmental eyes right
Concerned.
now.
Baby, it
Fully
was
justified.
it was a slow motion train wreck, and it's like it couldn't get worse, and it just kept getting worse.
You judge me for watching some shows. I will judge you with all
And you will
my
judge
might.
us back. Yes, that's fair. Tis a fair cop.
So you're saying
Your guilty pleasure is bad, and you should feel bad.
No.
guilty
This
pleasure.
is not guilty pleasure. Okay, I feel skeevy having watched the first episode of this.
I felt skeevy watching the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the first episode of this just brought back all of the remembrance of the first season. It was like, oh, hell no. This is a train wreck. I know this train wreck. I'm not getting on that train again.
See, that's what happened with Quasar. I beat Quasar, and then they made a second season.
And it was like, no.
Now, probably what makes it the worst is just, you know, okay, you have the you have the main character who's this guy like 14, 15, and he's mentoring these girls in elementary school who are playing basketball. The reason we call this basketball head is because the basketballs are bigger than these girls' heads.
Other way around.
yeah, the
Their
bobble
heads are like gigantic.
the bobble head is strong in this show.
Actually, yeah. Anyways,
Orange on a toothpick.
it's just unnatural. Very unnatural. Some people would call this unnatural, and they would be right. and probably the worst thing is that the skeeviness to it is straight up. You know, there are a lot of shows where, you know, they have,
hide it behind. Oh.
No. They put humor to it. They acknowledge what they're doing. No, this skeeviness is just played straight. It's not on the rocks. There's no salt on the rim. It's just they take your skeevy straight.
Lee is
Don't
right
watch
now.
this show.
I'm not.
And that's my review. I had to take this one because
Look, it didn't get it didn't get fired out the airlock the same way.
People are going to want to watch this show now.
That's their problem.
that's I claim no responsibility. I wash my hands of anyone.
You cut open the
Who
barbed
watches
wire. You started reading the Necronomicon. You brought this on yourself.
I would not show this in the viewing room even to torment other people.
no.
So remember earlier how they were saying they drink out of the fire hose so you don't have to? I'm spared shows like this.
We mean it. We mean it.
Okay, like they're not.
I will say this. Couldn't a lot of this pain, suffering, and self-inflicted harm have been avoided had you just watched the first episode and known that's about the like, if that was the top of the barrel, then that doesn't actually still make it any good.
see. First episode of the first season, the skeeviness wasn't in full play.
It was almost like an episode of.
Why am I
Bamboo
remem-
Blade.
I also want to say,
Yeah, it was almost like Bamboo Blade in some
At
ways.
first.
But then it just
got worse.
This reminds
Yeah.
me of that
I also
line from
wanna
The
say-
Simpsons. It's just like Fox News turned into from normal television to hardcore porn so gradually I didn't even notice.
I also want to say, I really don't think there was much anything else on that season.
kind of.
Yeah, that may have been part of
just
it.
there.
I'm sure there was better things that
There
season.
were. There definitely were.
Yeah.
There weren't anything worse though.
So anyways, we should be able to let this go. Take a breath,
I'm lost.
let it out, and we move on to Rosen Maiden.
Yeah.
Now this is Rosen Maiden
Because this will get so much better.
Zurückspluden,
New series.
which is basically a new series.
It's an alternate telling of the original Rosen Maiden story,
Yes,
ball joints included.
Real reboot.
ball joints are in play. Desu.
Desu.
Everyone get their desus out of the way now.
Desu,
Desu, Desu, Desu, Desu, Desu.
That's it.
Okay, done.
So,
A delicious cake. You must Desu.
It's invisible.
Eat it
What you're
back.
saying is they're all still losing their heads, huh?
Kind of. it's like
Oh, God.
the main character. The thing is this is played straight. The main character is shown making his decision in the first episode of the original show. He gets a letter from mysterious people that says, "Wind up" or "Do not wind up." In the original series, he picks "Wind up," and everything starts. In this version, it rewinds and shows, "I'm not gonna wind." He doesn't know what the hell it is. So he's no, and
This choice was made is when the kid is in middle school.
yeah, when he's like 11, 12.
Yes.
I swear it's going to go closed time loop on
It might. So the result of him picking to not wind up and not become part of the whole thing that kind of in the first season is that it destroys his life. He becomes a shut-in. He doesn't go to school anymore.
No, he's in university, I thought.
Hold on.
Yeah, at least finished high school.
He skipped
No.
high school.
Yeah.
Oh.
He skipped high school and got into university by testing it. He skipped out on high school because he basically got humiliated when people in his school discovered that he liked to design girls' clothes, which was a side effect of the whole doll designer thing. So you get the main character who's kind of just an angry little kid in the first series. Well, now he's become this absolute wreck, the shell of a man.
Broken unit.
Utterly broken. It's like he works at a used bookstore part-time. Everyone who works there basically doesn't like him except one of his coworkers, and anytime she tries to be nice to him, he's just like, I don't care. I'm gonna go home. But he's given kind of an extra chance because it turns out that this version of the story is a alternate reality. Bad stuff's happening in the main reality.
Very bad stuff.
Very bad stuff. So some of the characters from the original story bail out and come into his reality to hide. And he
Kinda.
gets pulled into everything all over again.
Is this on Crunchyroll?
Maybe.
It is. From what I can gather, it's a way to get into Rosen Maiden without actually having watched any prior Rosen Maiden.
Yes.
The entire first season of Rosen Maiden is shown in the first episode of the new series. It's like condensed.
You get the full series summary in the first episode.
It's interesting in that it shouldn't be something that is interesting, but you can't look away.
Yeah.
It looks like there's some improvement in animation.
There
too.
certainly is.
This is Dean, and this is the Dean getting better side of things.
They have been given a lot of money from.
They've
other
learned
stuff
lighting.
they've done.
Actually, here's my main thing with Dean lately. They've learned how to do their lighting and coloring way
Yes.
better.
This is one of those shows, the original series that aired a long time ago and was the origin of a lot of Chan jokes.
because
Among others.
the Chan was basically divided over this show.
A bunch of people refused to watch it, and the people who were watching was like, "Dude, check it out."
Yeah.
Desu.
That's it.
And probably there is a reason why you may not hear about the series here in the U.S. because this got caught up in all the shitstorm when
Pioneer went down.
Genion basically went down. And it was picked up by Funimation, but it was picked up as a redheaded stepchild. That there was, no major publicity of it when
They
it
got
was
it
released.
to get the DVDs that were promised to be put out.
Quietly shit canned.
And so there's a reason why you may not have heard
Well,
about
that
that.
said,
That's one of the reasons.
I tried watching the original series. I'll be perfectly honest. I gave it its chance and it didn't click too much. I'm
fine.
going to give this one a chance because I fucking love reboots and like giving them a chance. So
And yeah, it's funny to watch this guy basically going from my life is an empty, hollow hell. And now that uncomfortable things are happening to him, his life is getting better.
Yes, and as noted, there is very good likelihoods that we're looking at time looping going on here, and
weird.
that's a whole new element of man, what the hell going on. It's interesting. I would say give it a shot. Again, you don't have to have watched the first to appreciate this. So, give it a shot. Desu.
Desu.
Next up, Senki Zesso Symphogear G.
because apparently with anime sequels, you just toss a random Roman character and that's season 2.
All it has to do is say, it's not the first season.
At least it's a little
thumbprint
easier than
at the
Dog
end.
Days, which used the goddamn apostrophe.
Dog Days Dash.
Dark Days Dash. Anyways, Symphogear, aka Candy Corn. Reason we call it Candy Corn is the
Character design on the
character design of when the main character is in her power armor. Basically. It is a magical girl kind of show where there's this enemy called the Noise, which are kind of look like rejects from Ultraman.
They're like old tokusatsu villains. It's pretty cool.
They're blob monsters that eat people and turn them into ash.
Yeah, they basically touch humans and whoof, they turn into ash, and that's bad. And there's this organization that fights them.
At least it's ash and not goo, like in the old Ava movies.
Yeah. Well, that's completely different. That's
Yeah.
We're not talking
Stuff.
Tang here, man.
Ew.
And this is one that we love this show, but we also love to be
Hate
frustrated
it.
by this
Oh,
show. The first season of this is one that we described in a previous podcast as one of the characters getting pissed off that God no longer talked to man. So to get his attention, she builds this huge ion cannon to destroy the moon.
That'll teach
and if
him.
she destroys the moon, that'll get his attention again. He'll talk to her again, and things will be okay.
The crazy is strong. with
I've
some
heard
of these
stuff like this
characters.
come out of people who live in trailer parks. So
Yes.
Except this person actually built the ion cannon.
how about that?
And so there's a lot of crazy, really out there-ness. The attacks of these magical girls all have names and are like shown in these cinematic sequences as they make the attack. They have the attack name with
The
it.
chick has knee swords.
Ankle swords.
Oh, like that makes us so much better.
Because everybody loves knee sword.
And they sing
Yep.
J-pop.
Yep.
While they're fighting.
Yes, it is their battle song.
The reason why is because all of the Symphogear characters are actually supposed to be Valkyries. And the thing that gives them their powers are like refined goo crystals that they get by melting down relics from ancient civilizations.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like a bunch of the studio staff got drunk and came up with...
No, this is like creating this scoring system for tennis. It was a bunch of people who were around, really bored. They ran out of alcohol.
Our main character, Hibiki, basically has a fragment of Gugnir
In her chest.
that was embedded in her chest quite
Forcefully.
forcefully in the first season.
She had plenty to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to have watched the first season to get in and start
jumped
watching. It'll explain a lot of things if you do.
Watch the first season.
I would recommend watching it. Give it a shot. You will know pretty quick if it's your thing or not.
It's
Hibiki's
magical
main
girl.
power is punching. I always found that a little novel.
Yes.
I'm gonna punch the shit out of you.
Like He-Man?
No, because He-Man's got a sword.
See, yeah.
No, He-Man had 2 moves. He punched and he rolled, and Tila taught him one of them.
Pretty much.
I actually liked that show, so.
Well, you can thank J. Michael Straczynski for that.
So yeah, give it a shot. Animation is done by Satellite.
Yep.
Who do
So-
very good. They're good at animation. It's just
Yes, and
show's
especially
so goddamn weird.
I would recommend giving it a shot. Again, we have a kind of a love-hate thing, and yeah. Moving on.
Senyu Dainiki.
Yes, second season of Senyu. Senyu is a series of shorts, which basically follows the adventures of our ill-begotten hero.
Completely unoriginal concept, but hey, there's 100 of them, so it doesn't matter.
1,000 years, you got a lot of descendants.
Yeah.
Yeah, the descendant of the hero who's basically tasked to
Go out and defeat the Demon King.
go out and defeat the Demon King, who winds up being this short little moe girl who accidentally opened up
The portal to the demon realm that caused all the problems that he's trying to stop. Also, the guy who's been assigned to him as a knight to sidekick him is a complete troll and asshole.
Jackass.
Yes.
So had healing magic this whole time,
Yes,
and you know I have broken ribs, right?
I'm aware.
Why
It's like, yeah.
didn't you help
No,
me?
that's what stopped. It just stopped there. It's like, he goes like, you know I have broken ribs still, right? I'm aware. And it just stops. He doesn't answer.
So these are short. They're 5 to 10 minutes long.
Derpy giraffe.
It's
I love that giraffe.
it's like tiny fragments of JRPG
Oh, there's
jokes
all sort of Dragon Quest references.
rolled up in the most bitter,
They killed slimes.
hateful jokes you can imagine.
Yeah. It's pretty amusing, especially if that's your thing, especially if you're into JRPGs. Give it a
You
shot.
can watch the whole thing in like a half hour.
Oh,
Yeah, you can shotgun this, and that might be a preferred way to take it.
And it won't kill you the same way Puchimas will.
Fact. That is true. That is.
All right.
Going down the list, the Server Next Service we covered
Yep.
at the
Yep.
beginning of the previous episode.
Yep.
Silver Spoon.
Silver Spoon we also covered at the beginning of
Yep.
the previous episode.
Now we're on to Tamayura More Aggressive,
Grr.
which is like kind of like dividing by zero. It says more aggressive, but it is as slow and boring as the previous. This is the second season. It's very slice of life. It is very sedate.
Do you have problems sleeping?
Sedate. Sedate. That's the term you're going to use to describe this thing.
Molasses.
Molasses flows faster. Rock has more viscosity than a show.
Molasses flowing up a hill during the middle of winter in Alaska.
Snail on the salt flats.
Apparently, it's about a photography club, I think.
No.
No. Basically, there's this girl who inherits a camera from her father.
Who's apparently a fairly accomplished photographer until he did that dying thing.
Yeah.
Want something more amusing, watch Photocana.
Different.
Completely
Goals.
different, but
Completely different.
I said more amusing.
slice of life, moe, slow, sedate. If that's your sort of thing, give it a shot.
Or if you need to go to sleep.
Or if you need to go to sleep, because it will knock you the fuck out.
Honestly, if you want everything this show offers, but you want something that's good at it,
Watch
and actually
Sketchbook.
fun, watch Sketchbook full colors.
That's like anime Prozac.
Wow.
It's slower than Sketchbook.
Yes.
Yes.
But Sketchbook's
Okay.
fun.
Now you can
But
see
Yeah,
that's the thing, you know. Sketchbook has
Sketchbook is one of
Humor.
those. It's more cute than humor. It's just.
Yeah.
aw,
Yeah,
that's
no,
just-
I'm not saying bad things about Sketchbook. It's a benchmark, okay?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I have not seen much slower than that, and I'm even talking about things like Aria.
Wow. Yeah, now that you mention it.
Even
yeah.
even the President Cat is more interesting.
Well, that's because we narrate him.
I'm not thinking about the
in our
Gilbert
head.
Gottfried voice in my head with the cat anymore. I'm just talking baseline.
President Arya. Oh, there I was.
Dear diary,
Dear diary.
Jackpot.
God.
look at this. I love my life.
Moving on.
Oh, moving on. Puts us to TQ. This is the second season of TQ.
I don't know what TQ is.
Okay.
Oh, God, you don't know?
All right.
Is this better?
man.
It is. Did you see Soft Tenny?
Oh, Jesus,
Hold
that
up,
one?
Hold up. Hold
No,
up.
no, no, no.
Hold up.
No,
Did
no,
you
no,
see-
no, no,
did you
no.
see
I know
Soft Tenny?
now. I know what TQ
Okay,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like
It's like soft
soft
tenny on. It's like
Condensed-
soft tenny
condensed down to 5
On
minutes.
meth.
on meth.
on meth.
Yes. and sugar and pixie sticks.
Yes, I am showing this in the viewing room.
Oh, yeah.
because it's in the
How cheesecake is it compared to soft tenny?
Not really.
No, not really
So
cheesecake.
also cleaner.
It's kind of.
There's less full frontal nudity.
Well, there's not any. It's all gags all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all gags
And
because
less
they don't have
weirdness with
time
giant
elsewhere.
salamanders.
No giant salamanders. No naked co-eds running through the screaming.
So there's no nudity. There's just gags.
There's just gags.
Just gags.
No gagging. Just gags.
Like, everything I gathered, like I watched a trailer for that show, and it was too damn hyper.
Yeah.
Trailer.
Yeah. Literally, it's like the episodes start and go, and it's over.
So yeah, I'm going to be showing some of this in a new section I'm calling the Endurance Run. Yes, in the viewing room this year.
Take it all.
All right, next up, Uchoten Kazuko.
Oh, yep. Ochoten,
This was a cool show.
Kazuko. Yep.
Yes.
Kazoku.
This is the Noitamina of the season.
And it's actually turning out to be a lot better than all the previous Noitaminas I can think of.
Yes.
Not all of them. I
This
will
is
say.
pretty
Most
much
of them.
You
Most
get a
in a
lot
while.
of Japanese mythology and make it exist in modern day Japan. It mostly revolves around a family of Tanukis and some
A couple of Tanuki families.
a couple Tanuki families.
Your mom is awesome.
Yes, the mom is awesome.
And the Tengu clan.
And the Tengus, yeah.
Lives in that area.
Yeah, but
There's something going on. We haven't been given the full scope of what's going on.
It's the first 3 episodes so far, nothing but setup.
Yeah.
I have a minor note for if you're watching this. The way their ears look is not a problem the Tanuki is having transforming. Everybody's ears look like that.
That's just the artist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's the
just-
art style.
So let that part go. It distracted me for half an episode
It is-
because I thought he was getting everything right except the ears.
It is kind of interesting to note that even though it doesn't necessarily entirely look this way, the character designs are all handled by the same guy who did Setsubo Sensei.
Ah,
Yeah.
less flat. That helps.
Less flat
Yeah.
because it's not all.
I got that not at all from watching this show. That's
Really?
weird.
Try watching it again and look closely. You'll
Yeah,
notice in
look
some
closely.
of it. It's not all of the characters, but it is really evident in like the 2 brother Tanuki, the jerks. And
Although it
the
does
older
not
brother.
have the same art style as far as
Seizure-inducing patterns.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But
The
you know, most people
patterns
don't
its
like
main
it when it moves and
I
they're
didn't
not
really
moving.
see that in Setsubo Sensei much. But
It does it.
Well,
It-
watch it
occasionally.
again and look closer.
His Hakama always did it.
Ooh, well played.
His Hakama always did it.
Yeah, yeah.
But actually, this show I've liked the premise so far. It's been really interesting, and I don't know as much about Japanese mythology as I'd like to for this show, but they haven't been hiding things.
Yeah.
Like they haven't done anything that I don't think I've gotten yet.
Sure.
They will.
Except the flying human. That's a
Well,
little weird.
she's special.
Well, there are a lot of cultural references and mythology references where if you're not familiar with them, you won't get half of what's going on.
So
But-
to the Wikipedia whenever
To
you
the
get
Wikipedia.
confused.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you could watch Pompoko, you could probably watch this and go, hey, this is kind of interesting.
100% less
Nutsack.
Tanuki sack.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually didn't like Pompoko very much either.
Did you watch the English version?
No, I don't like ham-fisted environmentalism.
Okay, yeah.
I did like Pompoko.
I and this is as someone who tries to be fairly green and stuff.
No, well, even if you don't like Pompoko, the English version is narrated by the voice actor that did Brain and Peaky in the Brain.
Just remember that I have a history of saying, and this actually will get the fanboys on. I honestly think Ghibli tends to be overrated, but that's just me on that.
About half of them I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a really interesting show. It's kind of shows the hostility between the Tengu and the Tanuki, and one character that has befriended one of the Tengu elders, who's well respected but has fallen on hard times. It's just
Same writer that did Tatami Galaxy. It looks like it's going to be not quite as complex as Tatami Galaxy, but it should be real promising.
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely one of those shows you're either going to like it or not like it.
It is interesting with the, especially in the realm of interpersonal reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interpersonal interactions, as they are shown between the characters, and that's really one of the key things. Is it's a character-driven show.
Yeah, the characters in the show are very well developed or developing. Not sure how to explain that, but if you're into Japanese mythology and that just really fascinates you, this is a great show to watch.
I like the bartender.
The bartender was me.
Oh, the guy at the. Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
At the Tanuki bar.
At the Tanuki bar.
I'm just gonna be over here pretending to be nothing.
Animation is by PA Works, so it's well animated.
PA Works was really good at doing a lot of anime firsts, and a thing that I actually especially like with them is like they'll do shows where you sit back and look. It's like you could have done this as a live action drama. Oh wait, Japan has no budget for TV. Let's watch this for an anime.
Yes.
And this show kind
Back
of
to Hanasaku Iraha again.
Hanasaku Tari Tari. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
I loved Tari Tari.
Yep.
But yeah, like they're a good studio. They do good work. They good original work. Like
Yes.
I think another is like their only adapted thing that I can think of. And this is
Kind of.
this is an anime first also.
But it does fit in their sort of stuff. It does fit within their.
Yeah.
They like social relationships
Yeah.
and drama and things like that.
This has a really original story, unlike a lot of the other Moe-rific shows that are kind of pulled little bits of the plot out of different hats and thrown together. This is original. It's very well put together, although I can see the animation style putting some people off.
What part of Uchota and Kazoku is Moe-rific?
No, I was just saying that
Okay.
a lot of other shows...
Okay, I just kind of.
A lot of-
He was letting his anti-Moe show.
Oh, it's fine. It's cool. It's cool. It's fine.
Okay.
Swing and anyway.
I would recommend it, definitely, if it's the genre that you're interested in. Otherwise, you might find it really boring. So...
Yeah.
It still hasn't quite hit the full stride yet. We're still waiting for the shoot.
Yeah, we're still introducing a lot of characters.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting, especially when you have... It's like, my brother transformed into a frog and lives in the bottom of the well. And
Stuck
he
that
just,
way.
He's stuck that way.
He
liked the form too much.
He forgot how to transform back, so people come to the well and talk to him because
He's a frog.
he's a frog and he listens. It's
Because he can't get away. He's stuck in the well. He has to listen when people come along.
But anyway,
Interesting social notes.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
last on the list.
The World God Only Knows, the 3rd season.
Quick rant is a big fan of the manga. They'll come in and there's a quick summary, but they do skip about 15 of the conquests from the manga.
Yeah.
They hit some of the high points as the story goes. You find out about his childhood friend. You find out about
Well, Tenri they did an actual OVA for.
They find out about the demon chick Nora and a couple other things. They haven't gotten to the part about this truth about his teacher yet.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal with the series. Is what happens is that the original manga spends about nearly 200 chapters, I think, on capture arcs. If you've watched the previous seasons, you know what we're talking about. That each girl gets an arc, and there's the whole getting the spirit out of her. What happens is that kind of there's been kind of the meat of things, like a new kind of more actual, like
New plot.
And they decided that instead of spending what would take probably another 24 to 36 episodes doing capture arcs, just do an OVAs of the important shit. All right, good. Let's now skip to the meat of things.
They did that with Nagima as well.
And it's just something you have to do with a series that runs this long, but you can't animate it at all. Especially, to be honest, I'm in the camp that thinks this is a good move, just because if they were to do all those capture arcs,
Bogged down far too hard.
the show would not get to this arc.
It prevents bleachitis.
Yeah, and also
So that being said, yeah, they've got their full.
also they have infinite OVA potential now.
Yep.
They're not out of breath. It's as funny as it was before because
Yes, it
it's
is.
adopting the manga. The animation quality hasn't
Well
slacked.
animated, well drawn, funny. I actually still hold part of why I like the anime so much is that compared to the manga, having read the manga, it's like the anime's drawn so much better. I just like how characters are like, yeah, it's cutesy, but I just like the way faces are drawn way better in the animated series.
Manglobe's pretty good at what they do, so.
Now, if they could do more actual fucking awesome shows, that would be great.
How about that?
Came as one of the more interesting protagonists in the series lately. He's a version of the lazy genius, and it's basically he's like he sort of gave up on the 3D world, but that doesn't mean he can't handle it if he doesn't want to.
Though now I sometimes get a feeling he kind of enjoys somewhat half of the capture thing.
Some of it, especially when the tables get turned and he gets stuck on the other side of the.
Equation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked that arc.
Yeah, they skipped the. There's an arc where he switches bodies with the girl he has to conquer, and there's an interesting take on gender roles. And
It's like, no,
shit, I'm getting
I'm
into
in an Otomege.
I'm getting
God,
into
no.
like you say, yeah, we're up to the goddess arc, so it's the next big part of the story. Basically, 1,000+ years ago, there was old hell, which is what most people think of as hell, and they had a big war with heaven. All the old demons got sealed away by the 6 goddesses, who then went to sleep, and new hell took over, which was a lot more people-friendly, and things seem to be going all right.
Efficient.
That's where Elsie comes from and her love
But-
of fire trucks.
But then something...
Fire trucks.
But then something went wrong, and there was this big explosion. So now, on top of the thousands of loose souls and old demons in the world, you've got these 6 goddesses they've got to track down. And before, there was this interesting thing about, because he had to make these girls fall in love with him, and yeah, like 1 in 7, he maybe possibly liked himself. Most of them were just a job.
That's why
So,
Cannon got it.
just a job.
So, like, conveniently, they lose their memories, so it doesn't end up being this giant harem issue. Except now, 6 of the girls, most of the ones he had maybe
the
some
first
feelings
arcs.
for, are starting to remember stuff again, and
Yeah.
it's causing problems.
What's up?
So this is a show about a spirit hunting gigolo.
No.
Somewhat.
The main the main character was picked because he's really, really good.
Okay, Richard's going to explain it to me later.
Okay. You can leave it alone.
It's just we get too into it. Like a lot of this, like this is the 3rd season. You should.
Yes.
It's pretty big.
They have the first 2 seasons on Crunchyroll. Track down the OVAs if you can get a hold of them because they actually do fill in some of the things. Especially, there's one of the arcs is OVA only and not on Crunchyroll, which they keep doing.
Is that the
Tenri.
Tenri arc?
Tenri, yeah.
And that's an important damn arc. So
Well, that was also pretty recent, so it might be a little
Last
while
couple
before it's
months.
picked up.
So the last of the OVAs I saw was the teaching the other girls so they could get a light music club. I haven't seen the Tenri.
yeah, they have the Tenri arc. That's the one we were talking about with the childhood friend that's missing.
Yeah.
They did do an arc as an OVA.
That's good.
Well, that's it on the list, isn't it?
I think we've covered everything
And that is
except
it.
Hakkenden season 2, but seeing as how I don't think anybody here's watched it.
Hakkenden season 2 is like a season 2.
Hakenden.
Yeah.
Wow. Mind blown.
It's okay. Here's a little bit. I haven't watched this, but it's an Otome game based.
Is
series.
It yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
Yeah, I think those are the main
Oh.
like series other than some OVA.
you look at the artwork and you could tell,
Well,
huh?
because the director, it's the guy who did Hakuoki.
Oh god, that show was so boring. I've been saying that a lot today, but sometimes I remember some older shows, and that's why I remember Hakoki. Is like you had awesome zombie samurai and fights and shit, and then you just get chick her reverse harem, and nothing happens anymore.
So overall, there hasn't been a whole lot of great this season. There's been a lot of continuing stuff and
a lot of meh.
This season, there's some. This season, summer tends to be where they kind of let people do their ropes, but
Dumping ground.
dumping ground, yes. But there have been nothing great. Nothing I'm going to kind of say completely stands out. Monogatari, I'm excited for. I'm still on that because I love that show. But again, it's a continuation. The comedies have actually been pretty good comedies. I think that's a thing I will say is like some of the funny shows have been really funny.
well, we've got a lot of shows that are not your normal mold for this season.
Good time to experiment.
Yeah, and that's also why when you look at a number of the directors of these shows, a lot of them are, haven't done a lot of direction
New.
before outside of storyboarding or
episodes.
direction.
Seems like we got a lot of new directors, new voice actors, and even some new works for studios.
Yep.
This season.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say that I know that there's been a lot of meh and a lot of run freaking screaming, but
Not that much of the latter.
I know not a lot. Well, you guys are tough stuff. You're strong.
Good point.
But, there are a couple of shows that I'm really, really liking this season. So if I can find 3 I really love, I'm willing to forget about the rest
and I
of a
think
bad
there are a
season.
few shows that are actually going to kind of stick around in memory. Free is going to stick around in memory.
Yes. It's KyoAni.
It's KyoAni,
Yeah.
and it just happens to be KyoAni doing something so different than what we're used from them that it's kind of just stick around. And a part of it, because it's so different but been able to be so popular even outside of its normal target audience, is going to make sure it sticks about.
It's a
as
love
memory.
tap to wake up an audience who's interpreting it as getting bitch slapped.
Huh?
The show is the studio doing something just a little different.
Yep.
But the way a lot of people are reacting, it's like personally offensive to them.
Well, sort of, except that then I read other comments where people are like, there's that weird cognitive dissonance that they try to justify they like it, or they realize, this show's actually
Or you could just
pretty
like it because it's good.
Yeah,
Don't
Oh,
be so
no,
Russian
naked
about the
guys.
gay
Oh,
Yep.
whatever.
correct.
Grow up.
The show's great. It's fun.
people. Well,
Okay.
screw Russia and their intolerant bullcrap.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here. Putin, if you're listening to this, which I think you might be, someone over there is listening to you. You hear us. Yeah. Anyways,
His
So
name
Putin-
has been mentioned. The auto scanners will find it.
yep. But now, when it comes to what are the top shows we were watching this season? Can
I
we
personally
do that?
recommend Welcome Genshiken into your life. Watch season 1 and the OVA season 2, and then catch up on this. You'd really appreciate
Another
the hunt.
method is just read the manga all the way
Yeah.
through.
And I'm sticking with it's everyone else's fault. I'm not popular.
I would say Silver Spoon is good because it's a slightly different style of comedy. It's, different flavor of comedy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Monogatari as my favorite of stuff. It's continuation, but it's more of the same, and it's damn good. Guilty pleasure, Neptunia.
If I had to choose one right now, it would be Free. Okay, it's not because I'm a girl; it's because I really like the show.
Yep.
Maybe it's because I'm a girl, but I also really like the show.
Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Not mutually exclusive, but the is it Genai or Genrai?
Genrai, I think, is something.
I think it's
The illusion piercing sun or whatever.
Right, the illusion piercing sun. I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in seeing how it goes. I think that could be a really amazing show, depending on how it turns out.
I'm gonna have to go with Watamote just because those feels and those lulls. They've been delivering them so
Here's
far.
a weird thing with Watamote. I don't actually have that many feels for her.
I feel a bit bad for her brother, the ultimate straight man, in that
I
situation.
do feel for him.
Yeah. And I have to say I am curious to see how Rosa Maiden turns out. I didn't watch Rosa Maiden the first time around, so this is my entryway into that. I want to see if they do pull off the time looping thing, because that could be awesome, and I'm just looking forward to how it plays out.
Here.
I'm pretty much sticking with Free and Gotchaman Crowds because I really like where it's headed, and it's the closest thing I'm getting to a new mecha show this season. Space Jumbles, of course, continuing. I'm happy with that. And Monogatari, because it's Monogatari and more Shaft. And as far as guilty pleasures, I'm sticking with Symphogear.
I think for me, the big ones I'm kind of hopping on when they show. Watamote is, I think, another one. Just, again, I have this like of comedy where the main character can't win. Like those, it's just this weird. I love Schadenfreude, and I can't get over it. Like,
And it's all Schadenfreude all the time.
I just can't help but love watching her suffer.
Yes.
But and then Monogatari is the other kind of big one, though. Like Monogatari again, continue the same, and I'm just gonna top the third one, Genrai. Just for the same reason Lee said it, like that show has this weird thing where I didn't think I'd like it. I got into it, and it still has that factor. Is like I can't let nobody else know I'm watching this. Like this is just embarrassing to have on my screen. But damn, if this is not well written, interesting. It's interesting.
Wait. Which one's the one that you like because that it's embarrassing?
Ilya and Genrai.
Oh, yeah.
Genrai, like
I'm
look
not
at Genrai.
watching it. You can't make me.
No. Genrai has this thing though. You know what I mean though, right? Like, it just looks so kiddie. If people don't know what you're watching, there's like, what the hell are you watching?
I get what you're saying. I also know what you're watching. Oh.
Yeah. And speaking of guilty pleasure, for me, it is actually Prism Ilya. So because it's just so weird watching. I love reboots and remixes,
Yeah.
and this is a pretty fun rebooted remix.
If we're gonna go with guilty pleasure, I'll have to agree with you on that. Yeah, Ilya, because I find sometimes more amusement in that. I probably should.
Humans can't fly.
I always keep in my mind visualizing Zeltrek. You know who made the wand. just like he has this big screen TV where he just like is watching this magically going.
Glass of wine in one hand. No, let me rephrase it. Glass of whiskey in one hand, a cigar in the other. I love my life, except for that vampire thing.
So, all right, and that should conclude us for the summer season.
All right.
Yes.
2013.
Thanks for watching,
Until next time.
listening.
Oh, something just in case anybody is interested. Apparently, we are going to be getting the third Madoka movie roughly the same time Japan is. So,
Yes. Now we just need to see if it'll be in any theaters here in Utah. We did get the previous two, so
Yep.
there is a good chance. We will let you know.
oh boy, will we?
Because we'll squee like.
You might hear it before the podcast, actually.
In the distance.
We'll do a special episode. Like, yeah.
That's all it'll be. Is just 3, 2, 1.
But thanks for listening. Remember, we watch bad anime, so you don't necessarily have to.
Drinking from the fire hose.
Drink from the fire hose.
We know
Appreciate
some of you people will still not heed our warnings, and all I can say for you is, we warned you, you dumb bastards. We warned you.
We welcome.
We
you,
wash our
com-
hands.
No,
Brought
no,
this
no.
on yourself.
You found the marble in the oatmeal.
We welcome you, comrade. Drink deep.